Sure.
Okay.
So, Lord, we just want to thank you for this day. And in Southern Oregon, it's beautiful and sunshiny. And we just thank you for the weather. Thank you, Lord, for the company that we get to learn so much about our own nutrition and what you designed us to run on. And thank you, Lord, that it's still here for us to get and share with others and benefit from ourselves. And mostly, Lord, we thank you for your free gift of eternal life that you paid for us. Thank you for all these things and help us learn a bunch today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you so much, Jamie. And I always need God's help, that's for sure. So thank you. And I've got some announcements and then we'll go to wins. I hope you got your pin out. At 11 o'clock, we're going to have a very, very in-depth training on Elevate. So that's very, very in-depth. And the way you get on that, you go to Zoom 963-644-1807, password ATP. So that's at 11. You can get phenomenal content there. Now, two other things. I'm just going to be direct and blunt on this. I'm just going to quote Louis Smith and Josh Clark. If you want to grow, you must be at these events. It's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Josh and Louis say, if you don't go, you won't grow. We'll come back a year later and your business will be the same size, zero growth, or it will be smaller. So write these down. Louis has an event in Florida. I'll be able to get you a flyer maybe in a week or two, September 15th through 17th. So all you East Coast people, Allison, Mary Antoine, many of you there, Marcel, Allan, Cecile, we hope you can join us there. That's September 15th through 17th, to be in Southern Florida. Then the Wisdom Builder Retreat is November 10th through 12th. That's in Alabama. And the way you get all the details is you go to wbretreat.com, wbretreat.com. And all the details will be there. And then for the summit, to register, you guys, for our next convention, the summit, all this month, it's half price. We have till the end of August to get registered. So if you want to get the best deal possible, half price is through the end of this month. So get in on that. Those are the announcements. And then I'll just say quickly, Wisdom Builders and Louis, these are the big teams in NeoLife. They know that one time a year is not enough. Like convention is exciting, is fantastic, but it's not enough. So every 90 days they have these events. So that's what they're for. They're designed. They don't want their team going ever more than 90 days without having an event, to be in person together, because it's just essential to help us keep going. All right. So wins, I'll start with one. I was able to present to a group last Monday, and I have one-on-one appointments with several people from those groups next week. So that's exciting. Prospecting and getting appointments set up. So who else has a win? Because we're going to have Allan Blain on here in about 5 minutes. So who else has a win?
Well, I've got a big one.
Oh, good.
And it involves Rick and Barb. Are you guys on the call yet?
I don't see them. Maybe you can text them and tell them get on.
Okay, I did last night. Something must have come up. But a very dynamic couple who are very into trying to be healthy. They have lots of serious health issues, both of them. And I know and love these people a bunch. And the amazing thing is, after 3 years of saying no, 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 on Friday they said yes. And on the very first next morning, because I gave them each a tube of Elevate to try. The very next morning, the wife calls and says, hey, I need a box of that Elevate right now. I loved it. So, we're always going through the problems of having customers fall off, but it just is that much more important to keep going forward and not get discouraged. And remember that a lot of those people who said no, they didn't mean no, they just meant not yet. So keep going back, follow up is where the money is. And remember, they say most customers come on between 5 and 12 times on average. Well, these people were on about their 35th time. But praise the Lord, they're in. I love it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good persistence, great persistence. Thank you. Who else has a win?
I could talk for Ginny if that's okay.
Yeah,
She couldn't be on the call. She's getting ready to fly to Texas and
okay,
is all in a turmoil because she only got a couple hours sleep last night.
okay.
But she really, really loved convention and was so glad she went. She was so pumped up about it. And already for this month, she's over 500 PV and going strong. And I know she was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't know if they actually signed up because I wasn't on the website last night, but it's just one of those things where, just like you said, if we don't go, we don't grow. And it is important to get together.
Yeah, it's essential. Like a doctor might pay $500,000 in tuition for med school, maybe more, and engineers, mega bucks. Well, and they go to school for 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. So what our training is to learn how to earn an income, make a living with NeoLife. It's every 3 months we go to a training, and it is going to cost us $400 or $500. Not going to cost us $500,000. It's going to cost us $300, $400, $500 maybe for the airfare and so on. But that's how we get the training, by going to these events. So, and then the reason the doctor does that, or an engineer, is because he can get it back in his profession. And it's the same with us. As we learn the skills and apply them, then we're able to have a successful business as well. So who else?
Hey Bob, this Kat. I
Yeah.
actually had a couple of things that, I'm always doing research and working on things because I know I'm deficient in specifics. And the one specific thing I know I'm deficient in is systems. And I don't know if that'll mean anything to anybody, but I came across a great quote that I actually put in the newsletter. Let me see here if I bring it up. And this is, if you haven't read the book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. It's a fantastic book. I'm working through that one right now. But this quote really spoke to me. It says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your goal is desired outcome. Your goal is your desired outcome. Your system is the collection of daily habits that will get you there. This year, spend less time focusing on outcomes and more time focusing on the habits that precede the results." So I wanted to suggest that if anybody hadn't picked up that book, take a look at it. It's at the library. Great book.
Can you read that last 2 lines once more? That was really, really good.
This year, spend less time focusing on outcomes and more time focusing on habits that precede the results.
You're very good. Yeah, that's good. Since Allan is on here, I can quote, I hear Chad Johnson and Katie Boatberg talk about the habits that precede, and they call it like things like the hour of power or revenue generating activities. And rather than saying, well, I want to be at this level, that's not what will get us to the level. What gets us to the level is making consistent appointments, presentations over and over. And then that gets us where we want to go.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Kat. That was really good. Really good. Okay, you guys, I think we'll jump in here. We're fortunate to have Allan with us, and I'll just give you a little introduction for any of you that might not know him. Most of us do. Allan is a person with extraordinary ability. He excels in leadership, in vision casting, in the practical how-to skills. He's a family man. He's a man of faith. And I wouldn't always use words like this for someone who's extremely focused and disciplined and a go-getter, a hard charger, big achiever. But I've noticed these two things about him. He has lots of kindness and lots of humility. He's actually one of the most humble men I know. I have some serious flaws and faults in my life, and I'll tell one or two people or three, but I'm not going to announce to everyone. But Allan is just so humble, it's remarkable. But again, very kind man, very wise. Now in business, I'll just tell you, he and his wife went from almost zero to the $100,000 a year income level in 16 months, just part-time, not full-time, just part-time, because he had another very responsible, he was CEO and president of a real estate company. So he did that advance in his business in 16 months part-time. Right now, his rank is he's a 4 Ruby International President's Team member. And so I want you guys to please help me welcome a remarkable, exceptional, extraordinary, and outstanding individual, Mr. Allan Blain.
Wow. Thank you, Bob. Bob is the most gracious, most eloquent guy with his words of affirmation and gratitude, isn't he? I mean, literally, you top the list, Bob. I don't know somebody that does a better job. I strive to be that. You're like the model. You're like my mentor I'm not saying in this one, only in this one area, but certainly in this one area of wanting to really communicate with my words how grateful I am for people in my life. I think it's so important. And I write about it in my book too, just the importance. I love doing it now. I'm not as good as you, but I love doing it. I love genuinely complimenting somebody and putting a smile on their face when I either see something in them that I admire or appreciate, because it's so easy to think things about people positively and just not verbalize it or send the text or write the email. I mean, it's very simple to do, but it's very simple not to do. I mean, it's easy not to do, just like building this business. And anyway, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about you, Bob, but I do want to just thank you so much. I mean, no matter how much success, quote unquote, we've had in business in the past and NeoLife now, and I think all of us and even all of you on the screen, we're just scratching the surface of what we're getting ready to see, what we're already starting to see in NeoLife here in 2023. It's going to, I think, blow all of our minds, even where we're at by the end of the year, let alone where we're at by this time next year. And then I believe that with all my heart. I forgot where I was going with that, but thank you, Bob. All that to say thank you very, very much. And yeah. Oh, I know where I was going with that is it's crazy because, and I hope this encourages everyone, as much success as we have had, and we're going to have even more, all of us, that's where I was heading, is I still have insecurities. I still have fears. I mean, every single day I have to face them in various ones that you all don't face, some that we share in common. And so I think it's encouraging. And the more I've got around highly influential people, very wealthy people, influential people, famous people even, and got to know them as people and realize, wow, I'm not alone. I mean, I'm nowhere near their level of success, nowhere near some of these people's level of success. And yet they have insecurities too. And, it's just something that they get lessened. I think they lessen as the years go by. Hopefully, I know mine have in certain areas, but they never go away. This wasn't my talk, but I think it's important. Like they never go away. Some of them never go away. And that's where courage comes in. And that's where this business comes in. And I know of no greater business or any platform or anything, no coaching, no nothing that could deliver the ability for us ordinary people to grow into extraordinarily confident communicators, leaders, influencers in whatever our sphere of influence happens to be, online, offline, wherever, both. And it's super exciting. It's fun to be a part of. And I love you all. Some of you I don't know, most of you I do, but I love this team. Dwight and I were talking yesterday, Dwight Johnson, some of you know Dwight, and we're like, how can we adopt the Pearson team into our Wisdom Builders team? We'd really like that. We're like,
available.
if there was a way, we would do it. But the thing is, you know, we can all be family and like one team, even though we're separate teams anyway. And that's how we all treat each other. And that's what I love so much about the company, but what specifically your team, Bob, all of you on here. Welcome to today's what do you call it? Breakfast of Champions, Gathering of Champions.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I'm honored to be here, all that to say. And Bob said, you know, I could share, by the way, great book, Kat. That is a great book, Atomic Habits. I've heard that saying too, used a different way. You know, we don't rise to the level of our goals. What was it? What did James Clear say? We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems, I think is what he said. But I've heard it said differently too. Other things can apply. You can plug different words in for systems. That's super important. But, you know, you don't rise to the level of your goals, say, but you fall to the level of your training. You fall to the level of your vision. I mean, you could plug some things in there if you start thinking about it a little deeper. It's like, I might have big goals, you know, that I put down on a piece of paper, but if my vision doesn't match those goals, or my activity doesn't match those goals, or I said vision already, but anyways, some other things you could say, if they don't match those goals, then it's just words on a paper, right? So anyway, I love that book. Great book. Where to start? So Bob said I could just have like 3 hours to talk about anything I wanted. I guess you guys have cleared your calendar for the day.
Yes.
No.
Yes. It was 4 hours, Allan.
Oh, 4. Woo. That's great. I'll skip my kid's soccer game. No, anyway, no, seriously. Bob said I could have any topic I wanted, whatever I thought might be of most benefit. Of course, I don't know what's of most benefit to everybody. So that's a little bit of a challenge. And I was kind of struggling this week thinking about what do I want to talk? I mean, it's not what I want to talk about. There's a lot of things I like to talk about. I'm like, what can I share that can be something that could really help you most? And of course, I don't know what that is, but what I've come up with, I hope is helpful. Excuse me 1 second here. Okay. So get my phone off. I wanted to go back to Impact Summit. How many, right? Show of hands for the ones I can see. How many were at Impact Summit? So yeah, a lot of you. I did a talk at Impact Summit for those of you that were there, and I shared, now I forget because I changed it so many times before, trying to think through the points. It was either 12, it was 12 points, I believe. 12 points of taking ownership in your business. Having a CEO mindset or an ownership mindset of our businesses. And I won't do that talk for you again, but several people pointed out that I skipped one of them. I said, I've got 12 points, and I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. I skipped. I don't even know what number. In fact, I've got my notes here. I can tell you what number, but I thought I'd like to share the one I missed. And I would actually, in doing so, let me pull up my notes from that event. In doing so, I'd like to share the 2 before it that you've already heard, just to kind of set the, let's see there. Okay, it's 3, 4, and 5. It's points 3, 4, and 5. I skipped point 5. So I'm going to go back to 3, 4, and 5 that you haven't heard. And I really want to kind of dial in on 5. Okay, is that cool?
Yes.
So awesome. So, and then I want to do a little exercise with you after that, which I think will be kind of fun. And then after the exercise, I want to share something else that ties into point 5. And hopefully that brings everything kind of full circle to something that that'll actually benefit your businesses. Because we want to see you win. We want to see Bob on President's team like yesterday. And I know he's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from that. And I know as you all keep growing and winning, that's what I love about this industry. He can't win if you don't win. I can't win if my team doesn't win. We were number 2 IPT, not number 1. Do I want to be number 1? Of course, but I'd rather be number 2 and have the top 3 world team in our team like we did. That's the goal, is to see our team win. And anyway, want to see Bob and several others of you. Barbara, I can only see a few people on the screen. I can't see you all, but Barbara for sure, and others of you that we want to see on here, Daniel and others. We want to see all of you on World Team and not having to go home after we're on President's Team, not having to go home after the amazing World Team trip. So, and I know that's happening. So we're excited for you. So here it is. Point number 3 of that talk was that we have to set goals. Speaking of James Clear, perfect segue, Kat. We have to set goals. We have to set goals. And I talked about what is the goal? What kind of goals? Well, we need to come to grips with like, what is our income goal? I think this is what I think. Like, let's just talk about where the rubber meets the road. We're building a business and we can say it's because we want to help people. And of course it's because we want to help people. There's no doubt in my mind over the last 8 years, I'd have made millions more doing what I was doing than the last 8 years in NeoLife, 100%. So I could say it's not about the money, even though I want to make millions in NeoLife. And knowing every dollar represents someone's life positively impacted by the product drives me to no end. Believe me, I want to make a ton of money in NeoLife. I think about all the things we can do with that money and all the lives represented as a result of receiving that money. And it excites me. But I should have wrote notes for today's talk so I could stay on track. Let's see here. Where was I going? Goals. So, but I think that even though I'm doing this because I want to help people, I want to see people win in their business. And as much as I want to help people with their health, I hope this doesn't sound blasphemous to say, I care more about helping people build successful businesses and relieve financial debt and burdens and financial stress. That excites me more. And this is saying a lot because I get thrilled when I hear the stories of what the products do in people's lives. I love sharing the products with people. But even more, I love sharing the business. That's just me. I think Nicole, if she had to measure the two, loves more sharing the products with people, you know, and she loves them both too. But I love more helping people with their finances. But we're all building the business because of money. I mean, you know, we all have different drivers and all that. But I mean, we would tell people about the products if there was no income associated with it. But let's get real. But we wouldn't be doing it as much as we would, and we wouldn't make it such a priority in our life if there was no money attached to it. So what is the money goal? What is it? What is it? And it's different for all of us. So I think that is the goal. What is the income? And that can grow and change, right? It might initially be $100 a month. It might be enough to pay for free product. You know, it might be $500 a month that grows to $5,000 a month, that grows to $50,000 a month, that grows to whatever. Like, it can change, but what is our initial income goal? And what is the rank advance? What is the associated rank? What approximately, right? Approximately, if it's $1,000 a month, well, then I know that's, you know, director-ish kind of rank. You know, if it's $5,000 a month, then I know that's like a 1 ruby, 2 ruby maybe, but let's say 1, 2 ruby kind of rank. If it's a 6-figure income a year, then I know that's a 3 or 4, and depends on how it gets built. Like, we're 4 ruby and we make way more than what the calculated minimum $120,000 a year for ruby has to make. But because we've built 50 directors in an organization deep and we haven't built as wide, which was a little bit of one could argue a mistake. But that's a whole nother talk on, I think, 50-50, build deep and wide. Don't just build wide. Don't just build deep. Do both. Side note, do both at the same time. Very important. But anyway, because we built so deep, our income is substantially more than what our rank says. And the volume in our business is substantially more, you know, it's pushing more like a 1 diamond than a 4 ruby, than what our rank says. So anyway, where was I? Have goals. Income goal, work back to what is the rank goal. And I'm not talking about the goal from 3 years from now, what you want to be. I'm talking about the goal that you want to be by the end of the year, probably, or maybe next convention or impact summit at the latest. And you can have 2 by the end of the year here, by next convention here. Someday I'm going to stop saying convention. I've said it so many times. It's so hard to break, and you can have your 5-year goal. You can have your 3-year goal. You can have your 10-year goal. That's fine, but definitely have a goal that's shorter term as well, that you're running at, and you're going to hit that by the end of the year. And if you miss it, you grew your business. All right. Your fail is a win. So you have goals. Secondly, the next point 4 in my talk, but the second point today is, and I didn't do a good job with this. I just did a horrible job with this at Impact Summit on stage. I've never heard someone do this. I don't know how God just gave me this idea of a GPS. So see if this makes sense. You'll be the first ones I've really got to share this with. See if this helps you maybe even remember it. But I thought about a GPS, and when you want to type in an address when you want to go somewhere. That address is the destination you're going to on a GPS, right? In maps in your car or on your phone. That destination is this goal. It's $1,000 a month. It's $5,000 a month. It's director. It's one Ruby. It's whatever it is for you. That's your destination. And when you get to your destination, can you not create a new one, a bigger one, a further one? Of course, but that's your destination. Think GPS. Your goal is your destination. Now, what else do you see in a GPS or in a Maps app? It shows a route, how to get there. That's this next point, the second point. I'll skip my 12 points. We'll just go with 1, 2, and 3 today. My second point, which was point 4 from the talk, but is have a plan. It's so easy to say my goal is, $3,000 a month, and I want to be a Sapphire director by, the end of the year or by next convention, Impact Summit. Okay, that's great. That's the first step of 3. Now, what's the plan? I've seen too many people say, this is what I want to be, and this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm pumped up from Impact Summit. Great. What's the plan? Time will not get you there. People will say, I've heard this said so many times that, well, this is definitely true. People overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and far underestimate what they can accomplish or build in 5 or 10 or 20 years. But what sometimes gets forgotten, and they say it's not a race, it's not a sprint, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's the turtle that wins, not the rabbit. All these little cliches, which are true, but they're only true if the turtle doesn't lay down and stop walking. They're only true if movement is happening. You can put in the destination in the map and you can say, it's not a race, we'll get there eventually. No, not if you're not driving the car. You'll never get there. 5 years will pass, 10 years will pass. How many people are in NeoLife that have been in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, maybe some of you, I don't know. And it's like, I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still not director, or I'm still not world team. Yeah, because what was the plan to get there? Time will never, ever, 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 ever do it. Unless you, I can't say never, because you could bump into someone and spill some Elevate on them and they could lick it off their arm and love the taste and sign up and go build a empire. And that could happen. It does sometimes, but it's just like, so can win the lotto happen. That's not a plan. Okay. Hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. We need to have a plan. So point 2 is have a plan. What is the plan, Allan? What is the plan? It's so simple. As I said, there's like 4 or 5. It depends. You could add more or less, but basic things we need to do in this business, and we overcomplicate it so much. But we need to meet new people, connect with new people, start new conversations. That's number 1, whatever you want to call it. Start new conversations. They could be someone you've known for 30 years, but you're starting a new conversation with them, or a stranger starting a new conversation. 2, we're going to, and in starting conversations, and this is a whole nother training, but we're going to ask good questions. We're going to connect with them. We're going to discover needs, so that 2, we can invite them to look at a solution, a presentation, AKA a Zoom, a video, a Facebook group, an event, a retreat, an Impact Summit, a whatever, but an event, right? So that 3, we can follow up with them, because rarely are they going to sign up after doing that on their own. So that 4, we can help them get started. And if you want to add a 5th, teach others to do the same. I mean, it's that simple. That's how simple the business is, right? So the plan is, these are the things that have to happen, but now we need a plan. How many, let's put pen to paper. How many people, new conversations are we going to start each week? Better yet, have a weekly goal and a daily goal. Hey, I'm going to start 10 new conversations a week. I'm just making this up. 10 new conversations a week, 2 a day is my goal, or whatever. But we're going to have metrics for what's our goals for conversations. What's our goals for how many we want to invite? What's our goals for how many we want to sign up each month? We don't just wait to the end of the month and go, I wonder, I signed up none this month. Oh, I signed up 2 or 3 or 5. Like, what's the goal? What's the goal? We got to have a goal, and we might miss it. I miss my goals all the time. But imagine not having a goal. You never hit it and you won't even move the ball down the field, so to speak. The car won't even be moving on the route, even if it doesn't get to the destination on the time and day that we were hoping to get there by. So we have a plan. And then the third one that I skipped was in it. Let's go back to the GPS. So you've got the destination. That's the goal. You've got the route of how to get there. That's the plan. This is one I skipped. There's something about GPSs, and we all know this. They work off satellites, and they do, what do? They don't just show you the destination and the map, how to get there. They show you where you are. They track your location, don't they? They track your location. And think if they didn't track your location, you have your destination, you have your map, you have your route, you have your goal in NeoLife, you have your plan of how to get there. But if you don't track your activity, and you don't know if this month you started 1 new conversation or 10 new conversations or 30 new conversations or none, how do you know if you're on course? And just like in a GPS, if you couldn't see your car, you couldn't see the little triangle or the whatever where your car is, how would you even know if you're on the course? You wouldn't, right? So you could have the best goal and the best plan, but if you don't know if you're executing the plan correctly, that's a huge gaping problem. Huge. And I'm going to give you an example. And by the way, when you're tracking your numbers, and we use a success tracker, you can use anything you want. I haven't updated it in a couple of days, my success tracker for this week, but we use a success tracker. And it's just basic stuff. For those that don't know it, it's how many people have I connected with today? How many people have I invited? How many people have I ATM'd in one of the Facebook groups? How many people have I put in a group chat? Like, I'll give you a quick example. Tuesday night, we're doing, if you don't know this, we open all of our stuff to everybody. It's not just team, it's our team events that are open to everybody. So just like our retreats this November, we'd love to have more of you here at them. And they're going to be phenomenal. They're always phenomenal. They just keep getting better. But an example, Tuesday night, I'll use, you're Pacific time, so I'll do the conversion. Well, I don't know where y'all are now. I know Barbara's Eastern time. I'm going to use Eastern time. It's easier for everyone else to convert. Eastern time at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., we're doing 15-minute old school teleconference calls. Do you guys know this? 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Tuesday, 15 at the most 20-minute teleconference calls. People dial in a number, your prospects for the business. People, both of them, they're identical at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., identical calls, 15 minutes. So your prospects dial in this number. They don't even, I bought a number that you don't even have to enter a code. They just dial in a number and listen. It's that simple. While they're commuting home from work, while they're laying in bed, whatever, no video, no intimidation. They listen. 4 different speakers in 15 to 20 minutes talking about the NeoLife opportunity. Okay. I won't tell you all about the call. They're great, but we just started this 2 weeks. They're every Tuesday, those times through the month of August, and we'll reevaluate if we want to adjust times and what we're doing for September, but through the month of August. So I had a guy on the call. This guy is a realtor that I talked to 5 years ago when he sold us our Nashville house. He was 26, just starting out, didn't have a big network, homeschooler. Like he was a great guy. Fast forward 5 years later, the guy's making, I'm sure, over $1 million a year. He's flipping and building and doing all kinds of amazing stuff in real estate. He's probably 31, 32, I guess now. And I have talked to him about NeoLife for 5 years since the day I met him. Couldn't really get him to do anything. I did get him signed up as a club member. He used the products for a month, canceled auto ship a few years ago. I get him on that call Tuesday night. He listens in. And the whole premise was, hey, Josh, you gotta look at this. This is a different Josh. You got to look at this. You got to look at what's going on. This new product that launched, Clean Energy, taking this $40 billion energy drink market by storm. It tastes phenomenal, not like crud, like all the other energy drinks. And it's actually squeaky clean too, and healthy and good and blah, blah, blah. But things are blowing up before the product. Now this is throwing like fuel on it, like nothing. You got to take a look at it. He goes, yeah. I go, you still don't want an extra income stream? He's like, no, I've been thinking I need an extra income stream besides real estate. Great. Get on the call. He gets on the call. Hey, I text him afterwards. I would love to hear what you like best. Give me some feedback. He's like, dude, that was awesome. I loved hearing everyone's perspective. That was powerful. Da, 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 da. He goes, can we talk tomorrow morning? Yeah, we talk tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Talk for 30 minutes. He had some questions. I'm like, great. he goes, yeah. And when we got off that call, I said, you know what, I'm going to introduce you to some of my business partners. So I put him in a group chat on Facebook Messenger with my upline, even with one downline member that I knew he'd connect with. I'm like, hey guys, da da da. This is Josh. Josh, this is da da. They're amazing. They walk on water. They can do no wrong. Blah 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 blah. I'm edifying them, right? I don't say those words, but I'm edifying. They're amazing guys. You know, blah blah blah. All of a sudden, they're chiming in, going, "Hey, Josh, hey, welcome. Yeah, anything we can do to support you? You joined in. I mean, you're going to be, if you join, you're going to be joining a rock star in Allan and Nicole Blain." And that's what I'd be saying about Bob. That's what they would be saying about. That's what we all should be saying about each other. I mean, if we think it's true, I think it's true about you. So why not say it? You'd be joining a rock star team with Barbara Chichester. I mean, she's doing phenomenal things, has been doing phenomenal things. I mean, that's the kind of communication. So now all of a sudden, if he didn't already think I was amazing, now he thinks I walk on water compared to what these guys just said about me, right? Are you getting the picture? So he's like, he was already like thinking this is great, you know, and now he's like, okay, anyway. He hasn't signed up yet, but he told me yesterday he's in. And when this guy says he's in, he's in. He's already telling me how he's going to market it on TikTok and this and all the things. All right. So the power of a group chat, use it. All I'm saying is use it. All right. So we track that, you know, I'm way off track. I'm way off track, Bob. I'm just throwing all this stuff out there. I hope it's helpful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
All right. All right. I'm having fun. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's not too much.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So then I'm tracking follow-ups and whether they viewed the presentation and whether I get new signups. I mean, I've got the plan. I'm tracking the plan. I can look at the end of the week. If I hit my goal of 100 tracker points, the way we do it is just 1 point for everything. You know, I set that goal and I can adjust that goal. Okay. So that's why it's important to track. Now, let me give you an example. When I start tracking, these are not my numbers. I'm not going to use my numbers. I'm going to tell you just a hypothetical. Okay. Because your numbers are different than mine. And the good thing about numbers, when you track, they can always improve and they will improve and they will improve. They should improve as we grow. And that's kind of the last thing I want to talk about. But here we go. So let's say that after if you've invited 400 people, let's just say, this was easy math for me to do in my head. I hope it's simple for you all, even the ones that aren't great at math. So if you get enough numbers tracked and you can look back and you can go like a real business owner would do with their numbers and say, well, I've invited 400 people. And of the 400 people I've invited, 40 showed up. That's 1 in 10. Okay. I hope your numbers are better. Some of you are going to be way better than that. And some are going to be worse than that to start, just the way it is. But let's just say I've invited 400 people and 40 have showed up for the presentation, meaning they watched the video I texted them. They watched the video I tagged them in the Facebook group. They showed up for the Zoom, whatever it is, the teleconference on Tuesday nights. By the way, on Thursday nights at the same times, 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, you can use these two if you want. We'd love to help you grow with us all. 8 p.m. is a Zoom business presentation. And Dwight and I tag team that. It was so fun this Thursday, me and him going back and forth on the 10 reasons why this is the ideal business. It was powerful. And we'd never done it together before. So it was a little like, Nicole's like, that was amazing. I mean, we were a little not in sync, but like now we've done it once. So it's just going to get better every Thursday. Although this Thursday, I think I'm doing it on my own or maybe with Josh because he's at a camp all week with his son up at JH Ranch. But anyway, every Thursday at 8 p.m. is a business Zoom. And every Thursday at 9 p.m. is a Zoom health talk. So there's like tons of stuff to invite people to all week. But anyway, so, and I can drop those links and phone numbers in the chat maybe or something when I stop talking here in a minute. If someone reminds me, if I forget, I will do that. Okay, where was I? So if your numbers are this, you're tracking your numbers and you can look back on your history and go, okay, I've invited 400 people and I've got 40 people to show up for a presentation, to watch a presentation, 10%, let's just say. So 40 people viewed it. Of the 40, 10 signed up. Let's just say 25%. Okay. Some of you are going to have 75% sign up. Some of you are going to have 5% sign up, but let's just say 25% sign up. So 400 invites, 40 show up, 10 sign up. If those were my numbers. With enough time, I could see maybe, I'm just making this up too, one of them becomes a director. Are you with me so far? Does that make sense? I mean, those are just numbers pulled out of the air, and they're not industry averages or company averages or my averages or probably your averages, but let's just say that's the numbers. If you had those numbers, now you have your goal, your destination, and your GPS, you have your route to get there, your plan, right? You tracked so that you know you have those numbers. Now you get to live in reality, and you don't get to be the guy or the gal that says, it's not a race, it's a marathon. You know, it's not the rabbit that wins, it's the turtle. Meanwhile, you're going, you're claiming to be a turtle, and you're sitting down on the side of the road wondering why 5 years later you're still not a director. Well, it's because the turtle has got to keep moving, right? Taking positive action. We talked about that earlier. So here's the deal. So now you go, how many people, and this is a question for you all right now. Actually, you should answer this in your own mind right now, best you can, if you haven't been tracking. In the last 30 days, in the month of July, how many new, this new meaning strangers you just met that online or offline that month, or people you might have known for years that you started a new intentional conversation with. You reached out to them to say hello with intent of, having a conversation that if you could discover a need, you were going to have the courage to invite them to a solution about. How many new conversations did you start in the month of July? Think about that. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds to let you think about that, and then I'm going to move on while I take a drink of this amazing clean energy drink right here that's just taken the industry by storm. And by the way, when you come to our team retreat in the fall, you'll get one of these shaker cups free. I know you guys aren't Wisdom Builders team members, but remember, we adopted you, so it's okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
We're glad.
I got 180 of them in my garage now. Okay. So let's say it was one. Okay. I hope it's a lot more than one, but let's just say you were honest with yourself and you said it was one new conversation in the month of July. And let's just say you're tracking your numbers and your numbers are one director for every 400 invites. Let's just say, like I just gave you that example. You tell me how many months or years it's going to take you to build a director. I'll tell you 400 months, because you're inviting one person a month. And it takes 400 in my hypothetical analogy to build a director, because you're tracking, and that's how you have the data. Well, 400 months is 33 point something years. Last I checked. Are you okay with building a director in 33-year plan?
No.
At least you won't be 5 years down the road going, I wonder why. I mean, if you track and you keep, and your numbers and you keep that pace, you won't go, I wonder why I haven't had this success. You at least know why. Like it's black and white. Does this make sense? And here's some really good news. You're like, that is unacceptable. I want to be a 6-figure income earner in less than a year and a half, like you were, Allan. Okay, well, you need 5, maybe 6 directors. What if you invited, with those same numbers, you invite 5 new people a day? Now we're going to talk about quantity and quality and how we have those conversations here as I close. But for the sake of this context right now, let's say you invite 5 a day instead of 1 a month. You know what the math is then? You'll get through 400 invites in 80 days. That's less than 3 months. You'll spin off a director based on those numbers. I want to keep giving my disclaimer. I'm not promising you're going to spin off a director. I don't know. But that's 4.5 directors a year. You're a president's team member in a year and a half or less. Based on those numbers, at 5 invites a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You're like, well, I'm not going to do that. Okay, do 5 a week. Do the math. Do you want the 1.5-year plan to 6-figure income, or do you want the 33-year plan to $1,000 a month in income, or anything in between, or even more? I mean, build a 6-figure income in 6 months. You could do that too. I'm just saying it's been done before. These things have been done, and we haven't seen a lot of it in NeoLife yet. And that's why I think our visions are smaller than they will be, or maybe even arguably should be. So that's that. Now, let's see, where was I? So then that brings me to, are we good with that so far, Bob? Is that all clear?
Yes.
Before I jump to the next and maybe final thing that I want to wrap up with?
Yes. And Allan, basically you're saying if we're not getting where we need to be, probably one thing, I mean, many things need to change, but one thing, pick up the pace instead of like 1 a month invitation or 1 week, 1 per week. We got to get daily in order to get where we want to be before we're 128 years old.
Exactly. exactly. Because it's just simple math at that point.
Yeah.
There's only one other I mean, there might be other variables I'm not addressing, but there's one other major variable, and that is the quality of those connections and conversations. And here's the exercise that I want to do for you all before I jump to the final point and wrap this thing up. And this is audience participation. Okay. So you unmute. Well, let's try and do it quickly, but unmute and give me just what comes to mind when I say, in your opinion, what is a quality? There's more than one, obviously. Just give me one. And you can give me different ones. Qualities of a great leader you would want to follow. Just give me, what was it?
Trust.
Okay. Yep. Good. Next.
Builds relationships.
Good. Next.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Vision.
Vision.
Production.
Enthusiasm.
Okay. I got enthusiasm. And what was the other one? Was it production?
It was.
Production. Yep.
Consistent.
Yep.
That was Mary, consistent. Wasn't that you, Mary?
Yep.
Yes.
I like down to earth, Alan, because then you can connect, you know, if they're down
Yeah.
to earth.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. That's awesome. So this is good. I can see everybody now. Thanks, Bob. Actually, I could have changed that probably. Was I spotlighted or I was now I'm not spotlighted?
Look
Yeah.
great.
What happens? I want to experiment with something real quick since it's informal and I feel like I'm with family. Can you spotlight me again? I want to try something real quick.
Daniel, are you there?
Oh, Daniel's doing it. Yep.
Yes. I
Um,
don't.
I- Oh, well, I'll keep talking, but if someone can spotlight me at some point, again, I want to, when I'm spotlighted, I can only see 5 people across the top and then me big screen. I wonder if I can change my view to see you all while I'm still spotlighted. That's what I wanted to experiment with. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll keep rolling. So, okay, of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that we've got, and there's more, obviously we could add to the list, but for sake of time, it's interesting. And it's always this way. If you take these qualities and you say, what are the skills? I don't know if skills is the right word, but I'm going to say skills. What are the skills of a great leader and what are the character qualities? Maybe there's probably a better word for it. I haven't thought this through to give this talk before of a great leader. Most everything you guys said was in the character quality kind of realm. I think production and consistency is probably, I mean, arguably, maybe, I don't know which one it goes in, but arguably we could throw in the skills side, but down to earth, character quality, right? Down to humility, right? Is what I'm hearing there, but down to earth, enthusiasm, vision, integrity, relationship, a good relationship builder, or however you said that, Leslie, trust. The reason why I wanted to do that exercise is because if we want to influence people positively, which is what we want to do, if we want them to do something that's good for them, like watch a video or come to retreat or impact summit or get on the Zoom or whatever the thing is we're inviting them to. And we want to be effective in our inviting and be effective. So those numbers, so that maybe we don't invite 400 to get 4 to show up. Maybe we invite 400 and we get 200 to show up. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, and those numbers can keep improving again. But we have to come back to what are those qualities that we need to work on and focus on, and and they're how we communicate. I did jot a couple notes. I'm just looking what I wrote. I wrote how do we how are we communicating? How are we inviting? How are we connecting? How are we coming across? Because I mean, if I just walk up to someone online, figuratively walk up to them online or offline, and I'm just like, hey man, you need to know about this stuff that I've got. Boom. Would you be on the Zoom tonight? I mean, I can already tell you my percentages are going to be terrible on who shows up, right? But if I can build trust, create a relationship, show my integrity, I'm reading what you told me, paint a vision, I'm enthusiastic, I have production, consistency. I can't communicate those two things to them like in a short conversation, but that I'm down to earth and humble. The better we get at communicating those things to others, the better our percentages go up. So as much as we need to focus on numbers, equally important, we need to focus on our skills and our communication and the way we're going about doing these things. I mean, how about if we're, some things I thought about a great leader is a positivity, an encourager, right? A motivator. Like those are the kind of people, man, I'll tell you what, I've got people like that in my life. Bob's one of them. They're major encouragers. They're major positivity. We talked about this at the beginning. I talked about this at the beginning about Bob. And if Bob asks me to, I really think this would be helpful to you. I'd really like you to look at this, whatever. Am I going to tell him no? No way I'm going to tell him no. I can tell you right now, Bob can ask me almost anything he thinks is good for me and tells me that, and I'm going to trust him because of all these reasons, right? And more. So just not to overlook when we're focused on our numbers, you could track your numbers and you can do all this for years and have horrible percentages if we're overlooking the character skills and the communication skills, the empathy, the positivity, the enthusiasm, the belief, all these other things that are so important. The ability to ask, the last thing I wrote down was asking good questions. I mean, how important is that? I mean, that is a game changer to be able to ask good, sincere questions of prospects, prospective customers or business partners. Man, it's awesome. I mean, I saw a lady reach out to Nicole on Messenger about a post she made, and she's like, I'm a professor at some university. And as a girl, I think she went to high school with or something at some university in the Northeast and in New England, I think. And she's like, my husband just lost his job and we're looking for another income source and blah, blah, blah. And there would have been nothing wrong. Nicole hasn't talked to her in years. It was a cold she reach out from a social media post, and there had been nothing wrong with Nicole saying, boy, I have a solution for you. You got to watch this video, or you got to get on this call Tuesday night. Here's the number. Can you get on it? Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what Nicole did. Nicole's like, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear about your husband losing his job. And the girl probably would have showed up, maybe 50-50, let's just say. But Nicole writes back, and and I don't remember exactly what she said, but just to paint a picture, hey, I'm so sorry, empathy, care, concern. I'm so sorry to hear about your husband's job, blah, blah, blah. That must be super tough. What would you be looking for in, or what would your husband be looking for? What kind of side income? Is it a side income? Is it a full-time income he's looking to do? What are some of his skill sets? What is it that he would be passionate about doing? She just turned it around and asked questions. I mean, imagine she thinks she's getting ready to get sold, and she's probably ready. And now someone's actually caring enough about me to ask me questions before they just throw a diagnosis and a prescription at me. Like, here's your solution. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like, there wouldn't have been anything wrong with her just right away. Here's your solution, because it's obvious to us. The guy has no job. She's asking for income. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that Nicole needed to do that, but it's just an example of, if there was a 70% chance of that lady getting on whatever she wanted to send her, if she just pitched it to her, there's probably a 99% chance now that she's going to get on it, because Nicole showed, I really care and I want to know your situation. And the next message back was the invite to Tuesday night's call, because they wanted to get to, and she's like, yeah, we'd love to get together on a phone call or Zoom with you and your husband, and get my husband on there and talk more about the situation, but so that we could talk from a frame of reference and have an more educated conversation. How about this? You get on Tuesday night's call and let's set up our Zoom together on Wednesday. That's what she did, right? So what's the odds of her showing up for the call Tuesday? Unless something happens, it's pretty high. So super important. I think that's about all I have, Bob. I hope that's helpful. And maybe the GPS will be a good little reminder. I don't know if it is or isn't. Never used it before. So.
Well, thanks for putting all that stuff in the chat. That's fantastic.
And I also see, the number one world team member in all of North America on this call. And I would hate to have you guys miss out on him contributing to anything he might want to add to the conversation, because every time he opens his mouth, he adds value.
He does.
Allan, thank you. I'm blessed to be on the call, and thank you, Bob, for letting me peek in. absolutely love what you guys are doing here. And Allan, you nailed it. I kept thinking, man, I would add this. And then you said it. And I'm like, never mind. Allan's got it. So well done. Well presented.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have you with us, Dwight, and you guys, Dwight said he would do a BOC for us in the near future, so we'll get a date nailed down for that. So thank you, Dwight. Good to have you. And so you guys, is this refreshing? We're not even in Wisdom Builder team, but look how gracious and kind and they are. And I've heard Allan say many times, rising tide raises all boats. So it's so nice for his him to share his talents and gifting with us. You know, we're not in his team, but it's just pure kindness. There's no other reason to share with a different team. So you guys, let's give Allan a big hand. Gratitude. That's good stuff. And I'm so happy this was recorded so we can go over it again. And you guys see, look in the chat there, you guys. That he has allowed us to join in on and learn and bring our prospects to. And Allan, would it be okay if we take a few minutes of questions? Would that be okay?
Yeah. And Bob, if you don't mind, I'm gonna plug something that's mine that I didn't ask if it was okay, but I hope, is it okay if I plug my book real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. That'd be really awkward.
I hope you all read it.
It'd be really awkward for you to tell me no right now. I'm sorry to do that to you. but I felt comfortable because I'm not going to make any money on it. Okay. I'm not making any money on this thing. It's available right now. I just want your team to know about it. It's available for 99 cents if you want to pre-order it. And I'm going to show you right here where it is. But this book, so many people, the reason why I wrote it and started a couple years ago on it was so many people I talked to in our team and outside our team, before I really started opening up more about the struggles and the challenge from, you know, alcohol to other addictions to deaths and suicides and cancer and seizures and welfare and, you know, poverty and all the things that my family has been through over the last several years. When I started sharing a lot of this stuff, or even not a lot, some of it with people, even like on one-on-one calls and stuff, I started noticing that people that were looking at my life from the outside thinking, you know, I had it all together and everything was just easy, or I don't know what they thought. And they're like, well, that's great. You could build a successful NeoLife business, but you don't understand my spouse or my job or my health or my finances or my whatever addiction. And anyway, when I started sharing this, I could just see like hope. I saw hope that like, wow, you could build it while in the midst of all that. By God's grace, yes. And so the idea of the book was just, I'm going to tell my story, and it's not going to be a storybook, although it is, but it's not just a storybook, because I don't know how that helps people except to be able to commiserate with. And that's not my goal. My goal was, what was the mindsets and what were the things that God's still using? Okay. I'm not arrived, but that he's used to help us have I feel like the greatest marriage on the planet 31 years later, to have an amazing family. And he's doing some amazing things in our children, even with all my past failures. And it's just phenomenal to see, to have a very successful business that is attracting even more successful people to it than I ever probably will be. And healthy at 51 on all the things that I think people desire. And that was the point of the book. So I think that there's not a person that won't read it, inside the business or outside the business, that won't be encouraged. At least that's my heart's desire. Don't know if it's any good, but that was my thing. And I think for 99 cents, can't go wrong. So yeah, anyway, I will put the link in there. You can only get it on Amazon.com. You cannot get it on Amazon's website. For some reason, they don't pre-order. This is the Kindle version, the ebook, which you can read on your iPhone if you don't have a Kindle, by the way. Or you can just wait till September 21st and buy your hard copy or audiobook or whatever. So, anyway, thank you very much. I just want to say that real quick, but yeah, I'll take any questions. That's the book right there, if you see it on the screen, and I'll put the link in the chat if anyone wants to grab the 99-cent copy. And that's it. What questions do you have for me, guys?
Allan,
I'll let Dwight answer them, but go ahead.
I love the GPS analysis. That is just so interesting. I would have never connected that into business or even for prospecting, etc. And then the tracking to go with it, you know, how you put it together. So it's just had to sit and think about it, how to put it together. And now as you mentioned that even more and more, I want to thank you. Yes.
Thank you,
Like
Barbara.
that. Mhm.
Hi, Alan, this is Kat. I really appreciated your whole talk at the Impact Summit, and being able to go back over these particular points are very helpful. I have to echo what Barbara said, because the GPS, having those visualizations to be able to walk through things, helps remind you when you're actually talking to somebody where you're at in a conversation too. It kind of helps you where you need to go next. And that my follow-up question to that would be, you kind of mentioned some acronyms for tools that you use in your business. You use the acronym ATM. And I didn't know if there's some specific tools that you're using besides, now we have this new one, Homebase, which I've been practicing with Slack. Do you use an actual tool to chat with people, not just the Facebook or Messenger, because a lot of people aren't on that, and some people don't use WhatsApp, but do you use a tool to actually track if they're watching a video so you know where to follow up with them on? I've heard some people use specific tools for that.
No, I don't. What I like to do, and I was just sharing this with a new distributor or promoter in our team yesterday on a phone call, is I love, because people, anyway, try to keep it tight. I love to set up the follow-up before I send them the video. I love to ask them if when we're in that connecting and discovering a need, and I like to ask them when I invite it, I've got a great video that depends on the scenario, that would share some great, wonderful information and give you a much better idea when looking at what we're up to and how exciting this business is and how you could create an extra income stream or whatever the thing is. Maybe it's about health if I'm talking about health, but I like to talk about the business. If I send it to you, would you watch it? If I invited you in a Facebook group and tagged you in this video, it's a private Facebook group, and tagged you in this video, would you watch it? However, I'm going to get it to them. Would you watch it? And they say yes. They'll say yes. And then I always ask them, the next question is always, because this person that I was talking to yesterday, he's emailing them links. I'm like, well, that's your first problem. People don't check their email. And you can't get audio in an email, and you can't get your voice in an email. And anyway, you need to be using text or even better yet, Messenger, either one, text or Messenger on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. So you can do audios, and people check those all the time. A lot more than email anyway today. But so the second question I asked them is awesome. And and it's not like, when are you going to get to watch it? Because if I do that, it sounds like I'm interrogating them and I'm like being controlling. It's like, I'm so excited to hear what you like best about this information. Don't watch it too late at night. You might be so excited you can't go to sleep at night, but when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? When will you have 15 minutes to watch it, or 6 minutes to watch it, or 20 minutes to watch? Depends on what it is. When do you think you'll have 15 minutes to watch it? And then they say, oh, and then they have to think about it, right? Oh, I think tonight after work, or you know what, after the soccer game this afternoon, I should have time later this afternoon. They'll tell you when, and then I know when to follow up, whether they watched it or not, and I let them know. Awesome. Well, great. Then you know what? What I love to do is say, wonderful. Will you do me a huge favor? This is a third question. This is a triple opt-in. Will you do me a huge favor? I'm like, yeah, what? Like, will you just shoot me a text back? I'm going to text this to you or whatever. Will you just shoot me a text back after you watch it while it's fresh on your mind? We got a lot of stuff coming at us, and it's so easy to forget. Like even the next day, what we just watched the day before, will you just shoot me a quick text back? And you don't have to write a book. It can be one sentence. I don't care, but just give me your first impression of what you like best about it. Will you do that? Oh yeah, I'll do that. So now they said they'll watch the video. They said when they'll watch the video, and they said they'll text me when they're done. Now, are they going to text me back? No, most don't. Some do though. But now I know when I'm going to get to follow up with them tonight, if that was the case, afterwards. So I don't really care to know when they watched it, or if they watched it, or what percentage they watched. I know the Team NeoLife app will tell you that. First of all, the videos I want to use aren't in the Team NeoLife app. That's why I don't use it personally. And I don't really care what it shows me, because it just doesn't matter to me. Does that answer your question? All right.
Who else has a question for Allan?
Just quickly, I just want to say thank you. And just to, in terms of changing your view so you could see everybody, it's in the upper right-hand corner where you click view and change it to gallery.
Thank you so much, Kat. I am aware of that. I'm just not sure if when you do that and change it to gallery, when you're being spotlighted,
Mm.
if it really changes it on my, if I'm able to change it on my end. I'm curious about that.
Well, yeah, hey, Alan, I wanted to say thank you too. You did a great job at convention. Even though I noticed that you missed the point, everything else was so good, it didn't matter.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate people letting me know. I wouldn't have known. I missed a point. Had no one told me. That's the loving thing to do. You know, when someone's got food on their face, you tell them. That's the loving thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, well, who else?
Bob, could I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
I'm looking at all these smiling faces on here and I'm thinking, what would this Zoom look like next week? Or I think you do these weekly, but if next week, if every one of you guys brought one buddy, what would it look like? I mean, this would be crazy. The impact that would have, just one person, if you brought one extra person and said, hey, check out what we're doing here. Because what you guys are doing here is so powerful. You're changing people's lives. And to be able to link arm with one person and bring them to this community and this family and introduce them to Bob and introduce them to all the different people that I see on this call, you could change their life and you could change the whole trajectory of where you guys are going. It'd be so fun to see.
Yes.
Thank you, Dwight. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you guys, we need to do that by all means. Okay. Some of you guys don't know this, but we meet every Wednesday at 5 for just 30 minutes. For those of you that don't know that, some of you do. Brent is on there, and Barbara and Allison and Mary Antoine. But we want to invite the rest of you. And what Alan, I think what we should possibly move more towards, you know, Alan was saying on the GPS, they show you where you are, and that tracking, you know, if we're not where we need to be, that makes it, Alan, doesn't that, it's like an analytical tool, isn't it? To show, hey, the problem's right here. I'm not talking to near enough people.
It's so easy to be deceived. It's so easy. I mean, I know because I've done it. You know, days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and you really, like, that's why I love that question. Like, literally try to really be honest with yourself. Hopefully you all did that or able to do that, as far as like, how many new conversations did I start in the month of July? You know, and then what are my roughly your percentages of, if you invite 10, roughly how many will show up and view the presentation? And of the ones that show up and view the presentation, for every 10 of those, how many sign up? You can do some simple math and you can see how many weeks or months or years it'll take you to get a sign up based on your level of activity. But it's easy to just put it out of sight, out of mind, and just keep hoping one ticket is going to be the lotto ticket. You know, like I said, I've never said that before. That was kind of fun. You accidentally spill some Elevate on someone's arm. They lick it off. They love it. They sign up and they go build $1 million business under you. That could happen.
And
Power of one.
go ahead.
That was from the Power of One. I think it was George, still from NeoLife, that had that opportunity, where I guess he sponsored someone, and exactly what you said. The one guy just took it to another level and changed his life. So it is possible.
It definitely is. And that's what's exciting. It's just not something we want to base our future on, you know, any more than winning a lotto. But it's, what's cool is it's more likely in this business than winning the lotto. But still, it is a numbers game, regardless of what we may hope that it is. I mean, the most talented people we've recruited that were just could have blown it out, and we believe they were going to, did nothing. And I literally could tell you 5 names right now that I still know, just in the last few years. And then some of the people that have done the greatest things. I mean, Shandell Thompson, go build a $40,000 a month business, and told us no, I don't care about the 3 for free. I don't want to tell anybody, you know, I just, no. I mean, at that moment in time, would I ever thought, oh, she's going to rock a business weighing 280 pounds, 5'6", not even wanting to get her products free because she didn't want to talk to people, dealing with anxiety, depression, all the things. I'm like, no, if I had to put money on it, no, she's not building a business, you know, at that moment in time, if I had to guess. And she crushed it. So you never know. And it's exciting. Super fun.
Well, to me, maybe the best thing, I mean, Allan says so many good things. I got a lot of notes here, but how many conversations to me do we start? That's because everything comes from the conversation, whether we set up an appointment, whatever it is. That's the main thing I need to be doing. I need to do my personal development to stretch my brain so I think bigger. But anyway, you guys, let's give Allan just a big hand of gratitude.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I love being here with you all, Bob.
We love having you. It's great, and having Dwight with us and his cute little daughter there. And we'll look forward to having Dwight in the next few months. You guys will let you know when we pin down a date. And Allan, thank you so much for sharing your extraordinary gifting, and your skill set is just tremendous. And I'm so happy we have it recorded. And thanks for sharing that we can get on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you guys give him one more big hand.
Thanks, Allan.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day. And I get to go watch Peyton play soccer.
Okay, have a great time. Thank you for sharing time with us, Allan. Bye.
With plenty of elevates in my pocket, mind you. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, now we have we have cases of like 16-ounce water bottles or whatever they are in our garage, mainly like for the boat and stuff like that, not for the house. So we don't really have a reason to keep them in the refrigerator. Our whole house is filtered water out of the tap, so we don't get them cold. But now we put some of those in the fridge for the mailman and everybody else that comes by, right? And I told our kids, do not drink those bottled waters in the fridge. Those cold ones, you don't touch them. You don't take them for the road trip. Those stay there. They get used for the NeoLife business. So anyway, I'm so excited to share Elevate with people. I shared it with a girl at the gym this morning. I hope you're sharing it too. We need cases of this stuff to not just give away, but to sample. So have a great day.
Thanks, Allan.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bob.
Thank you. Thank you.
What we're going to do now, I asked 2 people to share a little bit about convention, and then we'll do recognition, and then we'll break till 11 where we have the very in-depth training on Elevate. Barbara, I think she's just amazing. She had 11 at Summit. 11. You guys give her a hand. So I asked her to share with us, a little bit how she did that, what it felt like. I mean, to me, that's exhilarating to have 11 of your friends there, to open up a bigger view of the world, more possibilities, more potential, experiencing the fun and excitement of being together at convention. So Barbara, why don't you take about up to 7 minutes. And then after that, we'll have Cecile share for 3 or 4 minutes what she experienced at convention and any of her goals, and then we'll close with recognition. So Barbara, can you go ahead? Barbara's a world team member, very solid, stable, superb, cheerful, positive person. Give her a big hand.
Thank you, Bob. Hello, everyone. Well, I was really excited about, let me just take you a year back in Tennessee when I had the 8 individuals came on to, not 8, but more than 8, including myself, 9. And it was so fun to be with them. It was really exciting because being in the business, or with NeoLife, I should say, for 27 years, or at that time it was 26, the maximum people I had coming to convention was 3, including myself, 3. And no, 4, because Brent and Ramona and Chris came. And I always sat there and I saw people bringing people and having fun, etc. And I've been going through that since San Francisco, all those events that they had. And then finally the jackpot hit last year. I was so excited. I mean, really excited. And it was also fun to meet the individuals that I had not met before, but just saw them on Zoom. And then when a convention finished last year in Tennessee, the same people, individuals signed up, right? Within, some did it a day, some did it within a week, but it was in that month that they signed up to come back to the summit in San Antonio. And then we added 2 more that came on, and they had other 2 that couldn't make it for valid reasons. But it was really exciting, again, to see these individuals on the team from New York and Canada. That was the greatest joy. Another part I really enjoyed, and I think the team felt, the ones who attended San Antonio, is when Bob's team, we got together that night. You know, I really, to me, you get to know people even more. That, and they all said the same thing. That was special because we did it last year. They enjoyed it. We did it this year. We really love seeing the, you know, identifying. Now I can see Kat and I can see Gloria, you know, all the people, Marina. And it was just so wonderful to have that intimacy, because we meet for the Breakfast of Champion every month. But to actually sit and have to repeat our names 2-3 times, to me, that was really exciting. I love hearing the science, but the science, you could always get it on a recording. But meeting the people that you see, you can't get that on a recording. You feel that touch and laughter. That, and I think the others echoed the same thing. We got one that we didn't even know we were doing the system that Ashley and so set up, and it was Tembincia, and she came on. We did exactly what the system entailed, which we didn't know until we saw it on the screen. And she looked at me and she said, "That's what we did." So one-on-one, did a group call, they did a Zoom with her and Jean. Then we invited her to the Zoom that night. She came on. That was a Tuesday night. And then invited her. Then we did the Discover More come on. And then I just threw it out. I was nervous, but I just threw it. I said, "Oh my gosh, we're having a summit coming on in San Antonio, blah, blah, blah." And she said, "I want to be there." And I said, oh, I just said, "Okay." No, I don't know where to get the ticket. I don't know where to put her to accommodate her. So I was nervous because I was just throwing it out there. And she picked up on that. Tuesday night, we spoke. And then she called me Tuesday, and she said about 9 o'clock the night. And she said, "Guess what? I booked my ticket for San Antonio." And I said, "Holy smokes. What am I going to do? Where am I going to get a ticket? Where am I going to put her to sleep? Because here I threw it out." And anyhow, I said, whatever happens, happens. So she booked her ticket, airline ticket, before she signed up.
Wow.
The NeoLife. So
Wow.
she did it the next day. And lo and behold, she went to, she's from New York, went to the airport. And guess who she sat next to? Mary Antoine. Don't know each other, nothing. So that to me tells me the story. So I was afraid, but I threw it out there and I got a fish. Yeah, you know, although I didn't directly sponsor her, but so that was exciting. And the biggest excitement was to see my brother Brent, because I haven't seen him since 2019. So I was like a kid in the candy store, you know, to see him. So all in all, Las Vegas next year, the same people want to attend, and we want to add, each of us add one more. So to make it big. So thank you, Bob. Excitement.
Thank you, Barbara. Barbara's doing a great job. And, you know, Tembicia that Barbara mentioned, she got her ticket before she even signed up. I mean, that's a really gutsy, courageous, action-taking person. She signed up like a few days before convention,
Mhm.
become a promoter, and she's already come like 3 or 4 days later to San Antonio. But I tell you what, a really neat thing. Well, I agree wholeheartedly with Barbara. When we're together as a team, I love it. Because, you know, like Barbara's in LA, Brent's in Canada, Mary Antoine's in New York, Jamie and Debbie are down, and Kat are down in Grants Pass at convention, and Allison's in New York. We get to be together. It's so nice. You know, it's just like an hour or two in that evening, but I'm like Barbara, I love it because we're in the same room and we have to say each other's names twice. Is that right, Barbara?
Yes, yes, yes. And let me add something on Thembicia. So when you really look at it, she didn't buy the product. She bought Jean and I personality, because Jean did not know her either. She happened to meet her because she was visiting a friend. So really, coming to think of the characteristics, she really bought our personality, the enthusiasm, we had fun, we laughed on the Zoom, etc. And she had never even taken the product. That to me was a telltale story. People buying you, the character. So that to me was a big thing for Jean and I.
Yeah, she did buy you guys. I think she bought the opportunity too, because I think she wants change. And I think she also bought the opportunity. But the first sale, I think, is Barbara and Jean, you know, that connected, liked them. They felt genuine, sincere, legit. So the first sale is there. And I think the opportunity was a big factor, is the impression I had as well.
Right.
I wanted to say, you know, Thembicia, she's been signed up like 3 or 4 days when she came, but boy, what a reward. She got to connect with Jerry Brassfield at the gala banquet. I mean, who better? That's the owner. And she's visiting with Jerry and having a fun interaction. I know Barbara and Brent got to connect with Jerry, and David O'Quinn, he told me he was connecting with Jerry at church Sunday morning. So Barbara's team was really making great connections. And I got thinking, Mary Antoine, after her first convention, she already has friends in other teams already. After her first convention, she's connected with Jamie Summers, a big shot. She's connected. And then this time she connects with Janice Johnson. And was that cool, Mary? Because Janice got invited, one of the first people on stage, and she's a phenomenal person. So you guys, it's so nice.
Yes, it is. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. And then Allan and Dwight, they're not even in our team. They're on here sharing with us, you guys. That's kind. They get nothing from this. It's just investing in us out of the kindness of their hearts. And so I was so happy when after church, I looked over, I saw Mary visiting with Janice. So I was really happy about that. And I know Barbara's friends with Janice, great people. Well, let's go to Cecile.
And by the way, Bob, people like you, they love you. So when they love you, you bring all your children. They love all your children. They can't separate it. So I must say, for us to get to that position, everybody says, you're in the best team out, you have the best leader, etc., because you're taking the children with you.
Well, I'm so happy. I had 27 of my kids there. Thanks to all of you guys leaders, all you, Barbara's leadership, everyone, Jamie's leadership, all you guys, Deb's leadership. She got Kat and Shannon there. So I couldn't be happier to have my kids there. So you guys, right now, this was Cecile.
Bob, before you go on, I want to recognize my friend Mateo that's on today. I want to
Okay.
thank him for coming on.
Wonderful. We're happy.
No
to have
problem.
We're happy to have.
And I hope you're getting value from what was being said today.
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Where are you right now, Mateo? Whereabouts are you?
Just in my basement.
Okay. Are you in New York or Canada, or where are you?
Oh, Canada.
Canada. Okay, good. Yeah, we're happy.
Him and I we work together.
Oh, do
Yeah.
you? Good. Yeah, we're very happy. And Mateo, Barbara that just shared, you might know that's Brent's sister.
Yep.
And Brent, I'll just tell you, and I better give it to Cecile here. Brent, after his first convention, man, he fit hand in glove with our team. I mean, like within minutes. Just pleasant, down to earth, unpretentious. He's just a great fit. So you're in a good team there with Brent and Barbara. That's excellent, Mateo. I'm so
Happy
happy.
birthday, Brent. Happy birthday, Brent.
Oh, happy birthday.
Wow. Happy birthday, Brent. Well, I better get this to Cecile. It's her second convention, and I asked her to share for 3 or 4 minutes, then we'll close with recognition. And Cecile, we're so happy to have you back for your second convention. Cecile is a wonderful person. You guys, let's give her a big hand.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mhm.
And thank you to my mom and my dad taking me places. And like I'm continuing to say that NeoLife is going to take me other places because I am prepared to go to Las Vegas. And I'm even inviting others to come who has given me their assurance that they're going to come. I'll let you know sometime later who they are. I have 2 prospectives to come along with me. Okay, where do I begin? There's so many things that I would like to touch on, but it would take me more than that, 3 to 4 minutes. One of my take from the convention is the 4 C's by Jenny Johnson. I made note of it. And the 4 C's that will change our lives. She said the number 1 was that we should commit ourselves, study the supplement. And that's one of my goals since coming back. I need to study the supplement, and I'm going to tell you which one I started with. And that would take you to number 2C. As you study, you'll have the courage to show. It will show how much you're going to commit yourself to either the business or sharing the product. That will further take you to number 3, the capabilities, and which would make you now be ready to change lives. And the final C, the confidence. Where am I? I'm at number 1 coming through.
Good.
Because why I say that? It's so hard for me to, go up to people. But I can assure you that this convention, I did something better. I met Kat, and I love you, Kat. Everywhere I turned, I was pointing out, look, Kat, look. Love you, Kat. You're such a wonderful person. And there are others that, with courage. I met Brent. I didn't know he was such a tall young man. He always looked so short sitting in that chair, but Brent is very tall. And Brent is the same Brent. Now, I'm saying all of this to say friendship. Friendship is what was shown at convention. And I have gathered that friendship, let me see, I made a point. Somebody made that point. It says, our success begins as a number game, and the number game evolves into a people business. So it shows that for us to get that number, we have to reach out to people. We have to tell them more about what we are experiencing, share our information with them, and at the same time, take from them too, because I'm taking from Barbara, I'm taking from Bob, I'm taking from Allison, and I've taken a lot out of this convention. I have a notebook. It's filled. And like I told Barbara, while I was on my way back, so excited, with all this information gathered, I I was reading what I had written down, and they all made sense. They all showed me my way forward in order to be the CEO. As Allan Blain said to us, we need to be the CEO for our business. I need to take charge of my business. Dr. Beck from the Scientific Advisory Board, when she introduced Elevate, she brought to us all the scientific information about that drink to show us how healthy it is. She compared it with the energy drinks that are found in the market. Writing all over. She said that those energy drinks, they have the caffeine, and when released into our bodies, it would make us tired, it would make us, fatigued. It will give us heart palpitation, stress us out, and that our anxiety level would rise. But with Elevate, we will have that calmness. I made note of that. We will be relaxed. And what else? What else? Yeah, it will help with our hydration, help us to feel good. So I am now trying to call those big words, those big names, the scientific names and to show what is going to happen to us when we take Elevate. My experience with Elevate, we got it, and I think I drank it like after 12 midday, and it kept me up until after 11. I couldn't sleep, and so I decided to iron the clothes for the next day, Allan and my clothes. I heard one young lady spoke about that. That was her activity too, because she couldn't sleep the night before. She came into the convention tired. She got a packet of Elevate, and it kept her up. I proved it. I have given it to members of my staff. One, she's an avid coffee drinker, and she said to me, it worked, it did work. It caused her to stay in her classroom and was able to do what she didn't even plan to do in relation to getting it ready for the new school year. So I'm getting good feedback. I'm to have more conversation with her. Today, I'm going to tell you guys I failed. I went to the gym and I saw a heavy-set woman, but she wasn't making eye contact with me, and being that person who think I need some more help in relation to approaching people, I did not. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to help her. I'm supposed to do that, but I failed her. So I don't know. In time, I know Bobby's going to help me. I have plans to go to Allan's session because I need to do, that's one of my goals. I need to attend these training sessions.
Yes, yes.
In order to encourage my courage.
Yes. And where you want to go for that, Cecile, did I already tell you, go to wbretreat.com, WB
No,
Retreat.
let me take them.
That's where you can register. And WB stands for Wisdom Builder Retreat.com. And then you can register right there. I'm going to be there, Cecile, so we can sit together and hopefully we can get Mary, or we have two in September. There's Florida, so all you East Coast people, and then in November it's Alabama with Wisdom Builders. The Florida one in September is Louis Smith, Two Diamond. That one's going to be unbelievable too. So and Deb might have a few people in Florida. I hope could come. I'll be there. So Cecile, we can sit together there. You guys, let's give her a big hand.
Hi, Kat.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna do the recognition, which is, thank you very much, Cecile. Appreciate your sharing. And for our senior managers, we have we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm only going to read the name of one. Well, their sponsors on here. Jamie is, if Jamie's on here, Lisa Hanson actually had 1,118. That's very good. Rick and Barbara Bird, 1,297. Nancy Reese, 1,592. Ginny Knoll, 1,669. So there's 3 from Jamie's team. Then Brent and Ramona Chichester, 1,785. Give them a hand. For executive managers, we have Gene McEwen at 2,285, Mark Ritchie, 2,346, Gina Ellis, 3,423, and Allison Wilson, 3,435. So Allison just right on the doorstep of director, 3,435, just that far from director. For directors, we have Janet Cornelius with 4,001, Jolene Cox, 4,031, Claudette Cyrus, 4,114. Here's our Emerald directors: Marilee Blomberg, 5,161, Debbie Musak, John Chambers, 5,442. In number 6, Barbara Chichester, 6,137. Number 5, Victor Pearson, 6,301 points. Number 4, Jamie and Carol Wilson, 7,904. That is great. And number 3, Leslie Hansen, 9,455. Then in number 2, Daniel Hansen, 10,002. Went over 10. Hallelujah. And number 1 is Stephanie Beckett, 10,460 PV. Then for Sapphire World Team, very elite. These guys get nice big car bonuses. They get invitations to world-class resorts. And number 5, Barbara Chichester with 10,251 points. Woo! Then we have in number 4, Deborah Musak, John Chambers, 13,346. Woo! Then in number 3, Leslie Hansen, 19,457. In number 2, Victor Pearson, 27,012 points. Give him a hand. And in number 1 is shows generational business can be passed. This is my sister, number 1, 51, Marilee Blomberg, 51,360 points. So you guys, we thank every single one of you for the contributions you make to the team. To being together is really super great to be together. And those of you that want to get in on the in-depth Elevate training, that'll start in 20 minutes. And just to repeat that one more time, where you get on that is 963-644-1807. That's a Zoom. And the password is ATP. So 963-644-1807. We're grateful for Allan and Dwight being on, and thank you for everybody else that contributed, Barbara and Cecile, everyone that contributed. Thank you so much. And Mateo, we're glad you're here. Daniel's mixing up his Elevate there, I think. Is that Elevate, Daniel, or is it Shake?
It's Shake, my morning shake before I go perform at the fair.
Yeah. Okay, well, have a good time. Thanks for helping us with tech stuff. And Mateo, we're happy to have you. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Thank
Have a
you.
great day,
And
guys.
thank you, Mateo, for
you.
being on. Appreciate it.
Good to see
Thank you.
everybody.
And happy birthday, Brent.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
All right,
happy
go out
birthday.
and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Allison, say hi to Gordon for me.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Good to see you, Mary Lou and Gloria.
Bye.
And
Can't
Kat.
wait to see everybody again.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
See you at
you.
11. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.